bone stock. We're going to put it on the dyno just the way it sits. It came from the dealership with 91 octane because that's the minimum requirement. Get a baseline on that. And then we're going to build our custom titanium exhaust with the active valve, just like the OEM system, but a little bit higher flowing, hopefully a little bit more noise. I want to put the camera at a safe distance so we can actually see this exhaust valve, see what it actually does, because it seems to kind of just open and close whenever it feels like it, which is kind of weird. So that's 218 miles, and as you see, we're down to pretty much 44-mile range. That way we can see what it does on the 91. We're waiting for it to come up to temperature right now. I see our oil temperature is just at 123. Water temp is at 161. Let's get it up to about 180-ish, and then we'll do our first run. So we're at 90 degrees on the dyno right now. We should be up to temperature to do a run at 176. That should be good enough. So I guess we'll do it in fourth gear. We'll see what the exhaust valves are doing. We're in sport mode right now. I'll get a sound clip from the outside, even though it's not particularly exciting. And then I'll get a clip on the inside, see what the data is doing as it goes through the runs. First run, 291, 314. Now we're not picking up any air fuel because it's not in the tailpipe. There's no port to put it in. When we build exhaust, we will put a port in there. That's not bad for a base run. Second run, 284, 310, lost a little bit of power, probably because it started to get a little hotter. Now, I'm not trying to show you peak numbers. I'm going to run it right away. It won't let us change the drive modes now because obviously it's freaked out. It sees the front wheels turning and not the back. So it's still in sport. If I can get this angle right here, you should be able to see the gauges. Ready? Yep. Third run, 283 and 311. Staying pretty consistent now. Second runs back to back. We get this graph out of the way right here. So we started the run a little bit later, but I see it's pulling a little bit of power. Again, this is 91 octane. I don't think that's too bad at all. So I'm going to shut it off, let it cool down. I'm going to go get in the truck, go get some fresh 93. We'll let this thing chill out. Right now, what are we looking at?
195, 192.
That's not bad. Circle K used to be a Shell gas station. As you can kind of tell by the colors, they recently switched to their own gas. And we have had bad luck with it. I put it in my S2000 after doing 2 or 3 tanks of Shell, put that stuff in. It started pulling 5 degrees at a time and it kept wanting to knock. The computer pulled all the timing out. Don't use that anymore. Now we have another gas station. Now if one of you guys want to figure out how I did this, brought it up to half a tank now. I don't know if it's actually going to start adding timing or not. I don't know if it needs to do some dry cycles. We don't know. We don't have the software to plug in and see what it's actually doing and data log it to see what timing it is adding or subtracting, but it's just kind of nice to do this as an experiment. As you saw, you could put 87 in these factory, which I would never do, but it's just interesting that you can. They recommend 91. Usually things run better on 93 if it has enough timing in it. We'll see. We'll put a few minutes on this, bring it up to temperature, get the oil up to temperature, and we'll see what she's going to do. All right, so we're up to temperature now. We have the fresh 93 in there. not from the gas, it's probably just from the cool down. Like I said, I don't think it's going to add any more timing with a 93 map as opposed to a 91. Obviously, that's where tuning comes in. When you tune these things, if you have the ability to suppress knock, you can add timing. That's where your power user comes from, and then of course increasing the boost. So we'll do another backup run at 192 water, 172 oil, intake temperature 123. Second run, 289, 314. So there's one thing based on the FK8s that we've done. If you do a run with an FK8 and then do an immediate second pass, it usually takes probably 15 horsepower. This is a 2017 Civic Type R, completely stock on our dyno versus ours right here. So it makes a little bit more torque, a little bit more horsepower, but it's quite a bit in that mid-range right there in the 3,000, 3,200 RPMs. It's quite a big jump. So I don't know what the boost is on the FK8. I think it's about the same. So there you go, 254 to 313. So that's just that hump right there. Now, of course, you can tune that out, but that just pretty interesting how much more power it makes. Car is up in the air. Just in case you haven't seen underneath one of these, I'll do a quick scan and I'll show you some of the things that we have noticed. So this looks like a 2.5 inch all the way through. There is a resonator, then a second resonator, and it actually connects right there. Looks like a standard 3-bolt flange, which we have one of those in titanium. So we are going to go from that flange back. We're not going to mess with any of the piping in the front of it for this time. We're just going to see what kind of sound increase we get. We're not going to do a resonator right here. We're going to make it 3 inch. We're going to go to a resonator here. That way this pipe will be 3 inch, and it's essentially going to come right out the middle as 3 inch. There's going to be a valve which is in the factory position. So right there, we'll show you when it comes out. There is a factory valve which you've seen that flap open and closed. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to operate. If it operates the way we need it, it doesn't open when you just hit R+, which is what I like it to do. Then we're going to branch off with the 2 exhaust pipes here going through mufflers. It should be quiet. So let's take this down. We'll do a quick look over, and then of course we'll weigh it and see what it looks like. We are going to add an extra O2 bung somewhere around here in our pipe, so when we put it on the dyno and we want to test it, we have a dedicated O2 point. So we have 2 options for measuring air fuel. Of course, the factory system, and then our wideband that connects to the dyno. So we showed this on a past video. This was the design we came up with, what we wanted to build. We knew the FK8 and the FL5 were very similar. What we didn't know is this already had a factory valve. This was our design. We were going to build it the same way, but put a boost activated valve right here, which is one of these. This can be ordered either boost open or boost closed. We used one of these on our S2000. If you haven't seen that, check that video out. It goes basically from a mild to wild function. This opens at about 4 pounds of boost. Well, when we saw the last FL5 we worked on, we found out this is a factory valve, and it has basically an electric motor like the NSX, like Corvettes, like Porsche, and it gives you the ability to open and close for different sound modes. Well, some people are going to go, well, why would you need that? So many restrictions are on the car manufacturers to keep their cars quiet, but of course as enthusiasts we want some noise. So this is a good system that the factory obviously comes up with. On our FL5 it doesn't make any noise. This is like it open and closes. The sound difference is so minimal, it's almost a waste. It's a shame that they went through that work and it doesn't do what it should do. You go get a C8 Corvette, put the valves in open mode, the car sounds like a hot rod. You close it, it's pretty muffled. You can get away with it. So that's the idea, is we have the electric boost operated valve. I don't know if it's going to work on the FL5. The motor might be different. If it is, we're going to modify that to work. But that's the idea. Full throttle operation. It's going to be a full 3 inch all the way out with no restrictions. It will have an inline resonator. When the valve is closed, it's going to force the gas back here and run out to dual 2.5s, just as the factory is. And again, this whole system is going to be 100% titanium. So I made a basic bracket to hold the motor to our titanium valve here so we can actually test it, just make sure it's right. This is the factory spring that's in there, which is basically a device so it keeps tension on the butterfly. But if this moves more than the amount of this, it gives it basically a little bit of flex, so it doesn't bottom out the motor. It'll actually use the spring to absorb rather than go to a full stop. So once this works and we know it's okay, then I'll build just a new bracket that ties all of that together, and we can make sure it works and fits. Did you do anything?
No, not yet. Yep. It's opening about halfway-ish and then closing.
Okay, so it's fully operating at least.
Yeah.
It won't go into R+, so I can't really do anything else.
Yeah. Yep. You gave it a little more and it opened a little bit more.
Okay. Alright, so at least we see it operating.
Yeah.
Let me turn it off and then set the valve open. Okay, might be like a cleaning function too.
Yeah.
So it always operates.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, that's good to know. We know the bracket works.
I don't know, listening to it, do we really need any more than that guy under there?
It's not that loud, is it?
No, that's just a resonator.
Yeah.
What do you think it weighs?
I don't know. Not
Can you hold it up with your tongue?
Probably.
That is awesome. Yeah. Apart from the car sitting right there. I would usually go, yeah, good idea, but yeah.
I'm not gonna let go.
Crunch.
It's light enough to where I know I'm not gonna drop it.
Should we wait?
We can.
Yeah, what the heck?
Oh,
Is it gonna fit?
Probably
supposed to be here.
No, you're not supposed to be
I'm
there.
not supposed to be here.
You're not supposed to be here today. Is it gonna fit? Oh.
Ooh. Is that gonna make it way more now?
Yeah, the light
just
is
off the
added.
light.
Actually, it is just off.
Yeah. 6 pounds.
6 pounds. That's not bad for 3-inch with a resonator and a no tubing and the hangers and a flange.
And if you wanted, we could put a turn on this, be the race exhaust.
That will be it. We'll be done. So the bracket for the motor is pretty much done. I am going to build a heat shield around that motor, just the way the factory does it. The motor is further away from the pipe than the factory, so it doesn't get damaged from radiant heat, but we want to protect it as much as we can. George is welding up the 3-inch exhaust. It is back purged for strength. So there's our bracket finished. It's ready to go. Just got to weld this cover on there and it's pretty much done. So we've used this before. We built the NSX exhaust. We built a few Porsche exhausts using this system and it works really well. Really nice setup. Nice to have the mild to wild option. Hopefully it sounds good. Yeah, it looks good.
About time to get rid of that cardboard.
Yeah, it needs to go up, but it looks good.
And watch the hot stuff, mate.
Yeah, somewhere about there.
Probably be 25.
now it's off fast idle. We're just going to let it warm up so we can rev it. But right now the middle one is completely closed, as you see. I think it's still nice and clean, you can see it. So the sound is coming out of these outside ones here. I'm going to warm it up, then blip the throttle. We should see that middle valve open and a little bit of noise. Get an idea what it sounds like. Alright, we're back on the dyno. I don't see it making any power. I want it more for noise if the sound is okay. Let's see how a valve works. A little bit of horsepower. Torque is pretty much on the money, the same. So I made 302 with the exhaust. One thing interesting, look at the air fuel. We have the wideband in right now. When you punch it, it's at 15.0, and then all of a sudden it comes down and it's rock solid at 10.0. I mean, that's crazy that it runs that lean, and then it goes to basically 9.5. Look at that. That is crazy, but it made a little bit of power. Not a lot. First and second run, and then first and second run. First run before was 291 and then 284, and then with the new exhaust we got 302 and 298. So it's dropping a little bit, but not as much. It's not really picking up much power. A little bit. It definitely sounds louder. Now, does it sound better? I don't know. I'm gonna have to hear it a bit more on the street. We're gonna get some more sound clips. So obviously we have a full 3-inch once this guy opens. Right now it's running through these two. This is sealed up pretty good. There's no air coming out of here. I don't know if these are louder than I want. I might drive it and get some impressions of it, and I'll report back if I want these quieter. As you see, it's a full 2.5, and it goes into the pipe as a 2.5. Now, right there, I'm wondering if that electric valve should be at the back, so that this acts like a Helmholtz resonator, and those two pipes coming in there might need to be a little bit smaller diameter to basically reduce some of the low frequency tones, which is what you can hear right now. Now 3 runs back to back, it's not dropping anymore. So we had 302 and 298, so it's pretty consistent now, where before it dropped a little bit more power. So that's definitely an improvement. And the air fuel ratio is absolutely rock solid, even though it's way richer than I would want to see it. It's solid. All right, so as you hear, we have a storm here. It's pouring rain. I'm not going to drive it around and listen to it and try and get sound clips. I'm fairly convinced I'm not going to like it. In fact, I know I don't like it. There's a couple of changes that needs to be made. Let me explain what we're going to do. So this is the changes I think we should make. Now, we are learning on this platform. If it was a B-Series Honda, a VTEC Honda, you can run anything you want on those. Those things sound fantastic all the time. These cars just don't sound good. They don't sound good with a loud exhaust. Full throttle, they do. Burping around town, they have a weird sound, and I don't like it. I'm not going to drive it around and listen to that. I'm going to learn as we do it and share it with you. This is where I think we're running into the issue. So the valve position, first off, it needs to be further away. We have it right after our split, where the Honda valve is about 9 inches further away. Essentially, that will be a Helmholtz resonator when that valve is closed. Right now, our Helmholtz resonator is too short and it's a larger diameter, so it's not working. Also, the two branches that go into the mufflers, the factory Honda one is about 1 3/4 inches. Ours are dual 2.5. So we have too much volume of air and low frequency sound going into our mufflers, and our mufflers are a straight through design. So the mufflers are not doing as good a job as the factory Honda ones. And we don't have a lot of options. We had to take these mufflers and cut them down to make them the size and shape that we wanted. We're going to change the diameter of those tubes going into the back of the mufflers, change the position of that valve, try it again, see what it sounds like. Fail safe, we can always add another resonator to take a little bit more sound out of it. But the sound under full throttle with the valve open, I think we're totally fine with that. It just doesn't need to make that sound all the time, because it doesn't sound good. Don't forget to check out our LHT Type R shirt. 2XL are completely sold out. We're about halfway sold out of small, medium. We're down to about 15 of extra large and 12 of large. After that, once these shirts are gone, they're gone. Go ahead and get them while you can. LHTperformance.com. Check them out in the store. We ship 1 to 2 days everywhere in the US. So there is going to be a part 2 to this video. If you enjoy the video, if you find it entertaining, if you're getting any kind of tech out of it, do me a favor, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. Help us grow, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.